Hi, this is Emily Vinos, and you're listening to Everyone Needs a Spotter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Everyone Needs a Spotter, the multifamily fitness podcast brought to you by the expert team here at RMS Fitness. I am your host, super excited to be here. As always, Steve Heitzer, joined by the three other usual podcasting companions. Joining me, we're excited. He's here. Vacation season's over. Summer's done. He can't leave anymore until spring. Steven Donadio, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Steve? It's good to be back and get 2026 rolling.
Yeah, man, this dude left for vacation, and he was under the weather when he left, and I wasn't sure if we was ever going to see him again.
I'm still under it, too.
He's here. He brought the weather with him. He's back in the building.
I don't quit.
Happy to have you here, man. Fearless Leader is with me, as always, leading fearlessly from the corner behind his click-clacky keyboard. Not at all to Emily's chagrin. Robert Decker.
Steve, thanks for having me today.
Thank you for taking it. Time out of your busy schedule to be here, sir. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
And then, last but certainly not least, you know her, you love her. She sits up front because she's short. Little Wipey. Emily Vinos. I wasn't done.
Sorry.
Emily Vinos. How you doing, girl?
Doing good. It's good to be back. We're going to start this year off right. We're going to finally have this going more regularly, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Look, you know what? We all love the podcast here. We're a small team. Everyone knows the team at RMS is not we're not like a Fortune 500. We don't got a million employees running around here. So sometimes things get busy, and we have to prioritize the needs of clients and customers, obviously. But when time allows, and we certainly are trying to buy out more time for it to be here for podcasting, we're always happy to be here and impart some wisdom, ideas, information, education to our multifamily listeners. We know that for those that haven't had a chance maybe to listen to an episode of Everyone Needs a Spotter yet, this is the Multifamily Fitness Podcast. So what does that mean? That means that we are going to take our industry knowledge, expertise, and understanding, and we're going to help apply that specifically to the needs of customers in the multifamily space, because we know that fitness centers are a big part of what you all are, managing there, and a big part of how you market and run your properties. So that's what we do. We share that. And this time, this episode, we just kind of want to do a 2025 recap, right? It's the first couple of weeks of 2026. I'm sure everyone is happy to see what 2026 has in store, because 2025 had a lot for everybody. And it's just been kind of a nice opportunity for us to come together and review some of that. So, Steven, you were just on vacation, man. Before we get too much into the year in review, how have you been? How's life been? And what are you looking forward to or excited about being back to work this year for?
I've been good. Whatever this upper respiratory thing is, man, boy, it's knocked it out of me. Vacation was good. Nice to get a little refresh, some warm weather, trying to break up this brutal winter. The ups and downs of the cold and the hot and the cold. It's that's Maryland for you.
Yep.
But
of course, you go to Florida and you add a little bit more warm weather to that roller coaster ride, right?
That's a good warm, though. The sun hits different down there. The 2026. I'm looking forward to 2026. Hopefully, the tariff drama is kind of like subsiding, so there should be some stability with the markets, which could mean some good forecasting for 2026. Looking forward to some big projects coming along, and I'm looking at a good year coming.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Steven is RMS's in-house financial analyst. He sits in there with his little day trading. I call him day trader from time to time with his charts and things up. But no, you know what? All jokes aside, I think we all would be excited for a little bit more stability in 2026 than what was out there in 2025. It may or may not be on the table yet to be determined, but it would be nice to have a little bit of that for sure. Robert, Fearless Leader, how's Friday treating you? How you doing?
Well, first of all, thanks for asking, Steve. Doing well. I was listening to you two banter, and I thought I could sum up 2025 by just looking back at the Baltimore Orioles, who were favored to win their division. And I believe they didn't. In fact, I know they didn't. They missed the playoffs. And then just recently, our Baltimore Ravens also missed the playoffs. And they, too, were ranked to go very far. So 2025 has a lot of promise coming in. And then as the year went on, and we'll talk about the struggles through the year, it's good for us as a team to be together. You know, no one's fired the head coach. I'm still here.
Shout out John Harbaugh.
Yeah. So, you know, with that said, there's been a lot of changes in a lot of industries, but we have successfully gotten through it. We had a team meeting not too long ago. I thought the spirit leaving that meeting and going forward, more about people, that we'll always be here to repair equipment and sell equipment, but the people, that's the thing you want to keep, the people, and keep the people relatively happy. And I thought we finished strong on that department, so that's good. We have a lot of positive to go forward into 2026. So that's my take so far.
Absolutely. A lot of good momentum at the end of the year for sure. You know, in maybe unconventional categories, right? Like morale and things were really high at the end of the year. You know, as a business, you tend to look at dollars and cents and bottom lines, but there's other metrics that you can look at. And I think that's really exciting to see, like, you know, some of what was a tough year kind of ended on a little bit of an upswing and seems to be carrying into the new year. So that's thanks for pointing that out, Robert.
Yeah,
Appreciate
sure.
that. And then Emily.
Man, I honestly, it feels like 2025 was a blur. A lot of weird things in my life that was not great, and so I'm looking forward to this year. You know, I turned the big 4-0 this year, which was daunting to me, but that was good. And I'm moving on. I've started my little Instagram project where I'm just really promoting the fitness, being 40, as well as working full time and managing it all. And I'm a big foodie too, so all of that is a part of this little passion project of mine, which has been a fun spin-off of something that we had started a long time ago with something called What's Up with Emily, and so it's just a little spin-off of that, and that's been good. So like I said, I feel like work was a blur, and I'm looking forward to 2026. I feel like what everyone said, we ended really high morale based off of that meeting, and everyone really bonded, which was a nice little, you know, session of getting together and talking our feelings out and then restarting. So I'm ready for this year.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, you know, you kind of summed it up too, and really the kind of the combination of what the three of you said sort of kind of summarizes kind of what I was going to say, which is like long year in some ways, fast year in some other ways. Things seems like they were slow motion and fast forward or something. I don't know how else to explain it. Like things were moving quickly at times and then slowed down at other times, but it always seemed like there was a change to be, you know, aware of, or a pivot you had to make. So it was kind of a hard year to get a lot of momentum or point it in a good direction. You know, it was more about navigating what came along the way and, you know, being in, just trying to put yourself in the right situation that was unfortunately changing frequently, right? So that was what that was about. You know, pet project, well, I had to find something to get into. So I got into fish keeping and like fish tank stuff the past few, you know, weeks of the year. I just needed something other than like the news and screens and stuff to look at. So I've been like planting little fish tanks and taking care of fish.
And you're doing really good with that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But it's been fun for me, and like, you know, I hear you talk about your pet project, and I know how nice that can be to have something like that. So to anyone that's listening that doesn't already have something, try to find out what that little thing is that you like, that isn't work or taking care of your family. That might sound terrible, but a lot of people, you know, they kind of lose themselves in the just doing of things, right? You go into work and taking care of your wife and kids, and you become that Groundhog's Day mentality. Try to find that little thing that brings a little spark of joy into your mix, and just find a little time for it. Make some time for it. You'll appreciate yourself for doing that. But yeah, I mean, really, I kind of wanted to just take the episode and talk about like maybe like looking back, maybe like throughout the year, you know, what are some of the challenges and some of the hurdles and things. There wasn't all bad, you know. There was some good things too. You know, definitely had some big wins this year. I had my biggest project of my fitness career kind of took place, you know, this year, happened and came together in a way that I was really proud of in the end. So that was a big win for me. I mean, Robert, Emily, anyone can really dive in. Do you have a particular memory this year, aside from the meeting, that I know went well, that you look back on with positive feelings?
I'll say something really quick. Two quick things. One, being an actual memory of an install that was handled by Steven in Annapolis, and the team handled that. We had the whole team on board. But then what was really cool was afterwards, we had set up, an orientation of the new equipment, and it was a lot. It's fun, but it was a lot, and it was back to back. I think it was 3 days. But we had a really good time, and we had really great feedback. And then I was just really proud because Maya, which is Robert's daughter, she was just rocking and rolling, and I was really proud because we were in teams and just working nonstop for hours, and I would just catch a glimpse looking over at her and not even hesitating. She did really, really good and just handled her own. So that was really cool, a big sister moment, looking over at her and being like, look at her grow. She's doing so good. So I was really proud of her with that. And then one little thing is I'm really proud that the fact that there has been a long time that I was worried about the team that we have here just getting older and doing all this hard labor. And we have acquired some younger men, and they're really rocking it out. And I'm really proud, and I'm really excited, and they're doing a really good job. And it's just nice seeing that new generation take over and just growing up and doing a good job here.
Yeah, allow some of those older guys to take on some of the, even when I say older guys, I'm talking about old guys. I'm talking about guys that just aren't in their 20s anymore. Yeah. It allows those people that have some experience to step into more of leadership roles or teaching roles or kind of team lead roles that takes a little bit of the physical demand off of them, but also allows the younger guys to benefit from their experience. So it's tough when you don't have the young guys for a while, which is a situation we were in for a while. It didn't seem like there were many young people who wanted to get into physical work fields or just go to work at all. Yep. But we do have a couple of really nice younger guys that have joined the crew, and definitely they add a nice youthful energy to the mix. They come back, and when the old people are yawning and groaning at 3:30 in the afternoon, they're just getting going, right?
Yep.
Everybody but the one young guy. We got one young guy who's older than all of us.
Yeah. Always tired.
But we love him. What about you, Robert? Anything from this year that you look back on with fondness? That might not have been a proper sentence.
That's okay. Yeah, I was thinking as you guys were talking, as the year has gone on, and I wish I was better at that. I've been trying to journal a lot of things to try to figure out where some of the energy has gone, because I think what happens is I get caught up in, I feel like most people know that if I'm presented a problem, I immediately go into, I want to fix it and make a solution for it. So I spend a lot of time in-house trying to do that to make sure the team is working smarter and not harder. But yeah, I think about the one project in Jersey. Steve and I went up, and challenges. I think if you can laugh about some of the challenges, like being in the elevator, just experiencing that. And then we met up with a partner who was helping us with this install, and as they were offloading and coming up, it was me, you, and Caleb, right, that were on that job. And I mean, it was a beautiful install, but just interesting, the differences that you see, their team working, our team working, and at the very end, just what came about was a very nice project. But when you're dealing with something like that on such a large scale, it was laughable because there are so many people involved. You can get extremely stressed out as you watch people going back. You have the customer who comes in, wants to see the room, and then you have vendors stepping over you, trying to get things done, which aren't even fitness related. They're just vendors in the building. But I laugh about it looking back. I think I shot a video of the day I was waiting because I can't even remember. The power was shut down for some reason.
Yeah, they permit test and they turned the power off for 30 minutes.
And maybe, it was a laughable day. And of course, it's far away. So Steve and I were out there for quite some time. I think about that one, what Emily said about the job in Annapolis. That was fun because it did seem like 3 days was 3 weeks. I mean, I felt like I was in a boot camp. And it's again, laughable again, because as we're doing this, being in the industry as long as we've been in the industry, let me try that again, and people asking the same questions over and over. If someone asked me once, they asked me 1,000 times what the pull-up bar was on the functional. And not that I want to lose any customers, but I remember looking at them saying, "You're never going to use this."
He said, don't touch it.
I made the wise joke of it's for the kids.
Yeah.
And just because the older ones were asking, and I thought, there's just no way you're going to be hanging from this. But that was a good memory. The way the team has shaped up coming into the end of the year, some training, even some of our older, more mature senior men have fallen into a nice niche, and they're finding their groove, even being here. Man, some of them been here 12, 13, 14 years. So it's a lot. There's a lot of memories. And one of the newest guys that we hired on made me, because when you're in this building, you're thinking, man, we've been here forever. And we haven't been. Mm-hmm. But it seems like we've been here for a long time, but we haven't. Mm-hmm. So a lot of good memories. But I think Steve alluded to it earlier. I think we were on a nice pace, and then something out of our control would generally jump up in 25. That's how I would describe the bumps. It wasn't like a vendor issue or our issue. It was just something outside of our forces that would slow things down, like with the new construction. Just things would just stop, and we would have to wait, and then everything would come out at one time. Mm-hmm. So I needed, if I needed a crew of 20, I needed a crew of 40 in order to make all the jobs happen at one time. So it's an enjoyable year.
We're finding out that crew of 20 with 24 hours notice doesn't have work because something changed on a project and you have to, rearrange what to do. So those are the painful moments where you're ready to like bang your head against the wall, but laughing at some of those things. I remember the job you're talking about up in New Jersey. I spent 3 or 4 consecutive, like very long days at that property. And I remember every day, because it was like an active construction site, I'm like walking out of that building. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm wearing my little vests and my boots, and I get to my car and take my helmet off, and I've just got like 4 days of helmet hair, and I am just like completely beat. But at the same time, like it's a very satisfying experience to be there. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. We were waiting all morning to unload the equipment at that job, and you were down there waiting, and as soon as we got the green light to use the elevator, all of a sudden, inspector showed up from the city and started yelling about where they had all these porta potties stacked up. So then they were moving the porta potties where our equipment was supposed to go. And you can't do anything but stand there and just watch it happen in real time because a lot's out of your control. It's kind of a nice little microcosm of 2025 in general, right? You're just pivoting as you can to, meet the needs of the situation. But so many fun experiences. I mean, riding that elevator hoist on the outside of that building and with the wind blowing, and it was so foggy. I accidentally took it to the top the one time, and it was so foggy out, I couldn't see the ground anymore. I could see the top of the fog. Like, it was so high up in the air. So, I mean, those were all experiences for me that I'm putting them in the win column. They were cool. What about you, Steven?
Yeah, I would say...
Can't talk about vacations, bro. You have to talk about work.
I would say the Annapolis one was probably the highlight of 2025. And with the 3 days of training, it was like it was like a time zone suck over there because it was like 3 days of nonstop talking. Yep. I felt like on the second day I was already losing my voice. I don't even know how I did the third day with the amount of talking that we did. But I thought what was cool was I was just there this morning doing a simple little repair, and they 2 of the board members came up to me and they're like, "We doubled our membership, and we've never seen that before." And they said that they ran some numbers and they had a 65% increase in men coming because of the new products that you had recommended and the revamping. And because they're also doing their own internal training too. And they said that every time they open up time slots, they fill up almost immediately. And so they're like so overwhelmed. They've never seen this kind of support before. They never realized that the impact that it would make just doing that.
Yeah, so I mean that speaks to a point that we talk about often on the podcast, which is sometimes these locations have maybe like a misconception about what their amenity could be like because of how it's currently being used. Like, and maybe it's because they just haven't updated it or renovated it or just kept it modern enough. But eventually, it just becomes just uncool enough that people aren't enthusiastic about using it. And then when you have conversations about the space, people are hesitant to do anything with it. Well, because no one uses it. A situation like this, though, on the other hand, big numbers of increases, demographic changes, because you've changed not just the age of the equipment, but you've changed the offerings, the modalities, and what's available in the room. So now you're drawing in people that might not have been interested in your space at all before. So that's a good example, actually, of the benefit of renovating a space and doing it thoughtfully, not just sending out a list of the 15 machines you think you want to 3 different people and buying the cheapest thing that you get back, right? Like, but rather working with someone who's going to think about your space, the needs of your residents, your users, help you create the right space. That's a good example and a really, it's pretty cool that you went there this morning. I didn't know that's where you were. That's nice to know that you got that type of feedback and things. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like looking back on the year too, hasn't all been roses and sunshine. Let's get the elephant in the room. We'll talk about tariffs a little bit. Obviously, they have in some ways gone away, and they have in some ways stayed around. They kind of have disappeared a little bit from the news, which is typical of our 15-minute news cycle that we have in 2025. They just don't talk about it anymore. And a lot of times, what happens with these types of changes is they just sort of become part of the new ethos or whatever of fitness, and not of the new pricing for 2026 is coming out, and just there's no more tariff, but everything magically seems to be right about as expensive as it was with the tariff, right? And it sort of just becomes the new normal when things like that happen. But Stephen, you were dealing with it a lot at the time. What would you say was kind of like the hardest part? Obviously, maybe a little obvious, but like of dealing with it, what was the kind of the challenges that you faced with tariff-related things?
Yeah, I think I know you've experienced it as well. I think the biggest challenge is when you have contracts that approved for a certain cost, and then all of a sudden they're experiencing an 8% cost increase. It just depends, 8, 9, 10%, depending on whatever the product may be. And so going back to the peoples to be, the upper ups, letting them know. I'm sure we're not the only ones that they're dealing with in terms of cost increases. And just like this Annapolis job, they approved the quote before any of this tariff drama started. And as things started progressing, and then when they were ready to order equipment and send over, the funds and stuff like that, so much had changed. And so I had to meet with a bunch of board members, meet with a bunch of people to get the approvals and let them know, hey, this is what's going to happen. And so a lot of it is, unfortunately, just customer education, just letting people know that this is going to happen. And, creative frustration. But we try to help ease and meet in the middle with a lot of our customers. And so that's really what it was in 2025, still trying to make our customers happy despite the issues that the economy is giving us.
Yeah, I think for me, in addition to all the things you said, the variability of the tariff situation made it really tough to manage, And I'm sure customers and clients probably felt some of that frustration too, because the way the tariff works is not like the way a lot of other changes or economic things happen, because it's not like a one-to-one situation. For instance, you're getting 120% tariff on goods coming out of China, right? Well, that's a lot of fitness equipment is affected by that. Certainly nobody's prices went up 120% like at the end of the day. So, because what ends up happening in a tariff situation is every person in that process along the way tries to find out how much of that they can accommodate or absorb, how much they need to recoup from their customers. So by the time it gets to us at the end and we're trying to source products from 5 or 6 different manufacturers to complete a customer's gym, well, one place might be doing X percent, one place might be doing another. We had some companies that were doing 20%, others that were doing 3.5%, so there was a lot of variability in it. It was very hard to explain that and capsulize that for a client in a way that didn't feel like you were doing what I just did and over-explaining something that they didn't really need to know. But, you didn't want to just tell somebody, hey, here's your big price increase either. You were trying to explain how you had done what you could do to help out and, trying to find ways to help people still keep their projects and goals moving forward. And it was frustrating because we weren't making any more money because of the tariffs. It wasn't our approach to try to, increase our profit behind that. It was just trying to find ways to keep these projects going and help the customers. So I know tariffs were an ongoing nuisance all year long, and they probably will continue to be a factor in things, as they go forward. But hopefully the industry is kind of like recalibrated for a little while, and then it'll just stabilize, pricing wise for a while. Even if there are behind the scenes changes, hopefully the fitness pricing will kind of just lock in for a bit.
He's very optimistic.
I'm
trying to be, I'm trying to be optimistic because, something's got to change, but, other things that, we had to do other things, right, along the way to make sure that we were properly situated with tariffs. And some of that had to do with, partners and just picking up the phones and having conversations to make sure that we had negotiated all the right things on our end, right, to make sure that we were getting the right deals. But there's always going to be things that are out of your control. That was a big one this year.
If I could add to that, Steve, I think for us, we have clients that we've had for so long, and being a resource for them when in this particular industry, when they have a need, they have a lot of times a lot of channels to go through to get something approved. And just like Steven said, it can take months. And we saw 2025, it wasn't months, it could be a week, and we get a notification that a tariff price would change. And we internally would go into the war room and try to figure out, can we absorb this? Do we have to pass it along? If we do pass it along, what does it say about our relationship with the customer? Are we doing all we can for our customers? Or are we just simply saying, well, this is not my fault, so you have to pay for it? There's a lot more to discussion that went on the entire 2025 because, as a business owner, we did absorb a lot last year because, again, in our industry, our reputation our reputation as well has a value to it. So to simply just pass on this cost to our customers was something that we took great pride in trying to lower that impact as it hit our customers. And so 2026, maybe that's why there's a little more positivity going forward. It's like, are we past all those discussions that we can just quote and do what we do? Or are we going to have to do all those other conversations because we can't seem to quote a product without feeling like, okay, is the price going to change in 6 months or 6 days? So it'll be nice to get past that for sure.
Yeah, and and the other thing to note is that we really don't know. You never know what the future of those situations is going to look like. It's heavily affected by things that we all know are outside of day-to-day people's control. We're just trying to sell treadmills. We don't have any control over, who's in office, who gets elected, what wars are getting fought anywhere. Mm-hmm. This is all just life, right? And so the business side of it just has to continue on. You have to kind of just continue with that. And, so maybe there will be some changes, right? Maybe some of the changes or some of the challenges brought about because of tariffs and how people saw it affect things. Maybe not so much equipment will come from one place or the other. Maybe some of that will change in our industry, right? And we'll have more diverse supply chains and things. Maybe we won't, but trying to be optimistic and think that, maybe something will stabilize in some sort of way. But at the end of the day, right, ultimately, what people that are listening to this podcast need to know is that the team at RMS Fitness, We are not at all the sort of industry or company here who's looking out for, whatever the most dollars and cents we can make today is. We are always thinking about the holistic, top-down view of our organization and our company and our clients, how we're viewed. And we don't want to be competing on price. That's not our game. We don't want to be like, in that rat race of just trying to be the cheapest or, whatever the case may be. We place a lot of value in the value that we offer and provide. And, we want our customers to know that we're always doing the best we can for them. We've sought out new partners and solutions for different problems and things to make sure we have options. So just know the price you're getting from us is always the RMS Fitness. We always call it the RMS Friends and Family discount. Basically, if you're an employee a customer of RMS Fitness, you're getting our good customer pricing. Like we don't abuse our people. That's kind of the messaging. So I know, there's a lot of things, that I did look forward to this year that came about that were pretty cool. I know, like new product wise, we had some things get offered. I've been beating my drum about one that I really love, which is the new from our friends at Hoist, the H8, which is a combination of like dual functional trainer and Smith machine in one. It doesn't have side weight plate storage. It's center weight plate storage. So when I'm working on these small, sometimes shoebox like, multifamily gyms, that's been a really cool way for me to like double the functionality of a space that maybe already has a dual cable trainer or already has a Smith machine, but only has room for one machine. Going in to speak with property managers about, hey, this one machine, which basically just plugs right into the same space, doubles what you can do, has been really appealing to a lot of folks. So I think, that's a nice product. To see a new and highly useful product hit the market in 2025 was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys have anything like that 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 we started dealing with this year, or we found this year, product-wise, that you thought has been kind of exciting or cool to deal with?
I think I like the Torque ski erg attachment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have a couple of projects for 2026 that I've included that on there. So I'm excited to see how it looks and how it fits in the gyms. It's just a nice product, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, which is cool. So at least floor space.
Right.
So it's a nice add to a gym that it's a unexpected thing that people don't typically see in fitness centers.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point. So Steven's talking about it's like a ski erg attachment that can be mounted to like a torque suspension rig, which is really cool because a lot of times those just hold accessories, and if they're not being used for suspension training during that time, it's kind of just a big accessory rack. By adding some of those cool things like the endless rope, which if you've been to our showroom, you've seen, or that ripper, which is the ski erg, you could take maybe a piece that's fairly static and turn it into a functional piece without having to stick it somewhere else in your gym, which is pretty cool. It's a nice, good pull, Steven. Robert, anything you've enjoyed working with this year, or products that you've enjoyed or not enjoyed?
No, that's not true. I'm just thinking of where we're going in 2026. The trend I'm seeing again is trying to put cardio equipment in a room without simply just taking orders, but actually asking our clients, do you know what is popular right now? This is what I would consider. I think I know it's not a product, but to me, it's a differentiation in product, meaning what we traditionally put in a fitness room is not what is popular. And so we want to adapt the mindset. I'll get a request and I'll say, well, I know in times past we couldn't help you with a step mill unless you had 10-foot ceilings. Now we have a product that will do that, that has a shorter requirement for ceiling height. So now you can use that. The rower is very popular for whatever reason. It still seems to be a better alternative than an elliptical. So I could go down this road about how products have changed, but I've sat down with a few, and the elliptical is one of the machines that continues to get less and less love as we go along year by year. So I'll be interested to see what's going to come along to help, fill out a room. What's the next machine that's going to take the place of that? because the climbers were very, very popular
Mm-hmm.
putting in a lot of these buildings. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We really will.
So maybe in your case, you're not you weren't speaking of us, even though you kind of alluded to a new
Yeah.
product, but you were speaking more conceptually about just some of the new products and
Yes.
offerings in general that we've brought on board this year and what that allows us to do. Right, when you have more diverse offerings and you've found some more unique ways to solve problems, it allows you to get more creative, and you don't have to get into that order taking kind of mindset when you work with a customer. You can really help them make the right move. So, maybe pulling an elliptical out
Yeah.
and putting in a rower that's half the price, or pulling an elliptical out and putting in maybe a stepper that's more than the cost of the elliptical, but you couldn't have had it in your room before because of limitations. But now with some of these new products, you can, right? So those are ways that you, instead of having 3 obsolete machines, now we can offer somebody a useful new function. So that's pretty cool. Emily, I know I keep coming to you last with all these questions.
It's
so
all right. Because honestly, I mean, like for you guys, you handle a lot more of that side of the business than I do. So even with the tariffs, like I know only by hearing you guys in the office complaining and being like, this changed, and how that was affecting you guys on the daily. Like that didn't direct my workflow necessarily, but I definitely can attest like that I heard the pain that you guys were going through. And then for equipment, I was just thinking, the way I find out about new equipment is usually when I go out on an install. So, and I haven't been out on an install in a while, but I am really excited because I will be next week.
Whoop, whoop.
But that's how I kind of get to know the equipment, is by going out and doing the installs with the team. So, but I will say, I know I was blown away by that hoist machine that you were referring to. I saw that. I think I was overlooking something on your screen, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love to go out on installs because then I can play on all the new equipment and see what I like.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
side note,
Yeah.
that machine is being installed on that install.
No way.
There
Well, then
you
perfect.
go. See? So, that's, new products and things, in the world of fitness, it's not like there's really a new valid product coming out every other,
Right.
month or so. I mean, there's new things come and go. Some of them are gimmicky, some of them aren't. But for the most part, a lot of the tried and true stuff is still pretty tried and true. But there have been some new things, it's nice when companies kind of maybe refresh an old thing. We had some of our partners update product lines this year. So that was right. Talking about wins and losses and lessons learned this year, right? Like we learned some lessons, right? Like when a partner releases new products into the field, you're probably going to have some. You might even be the tip of the spear of discovering some issues like with these machines, right? No, this isn't a bad thing. This isn't a bad thing, right? This is a positive thing to say that like what has transpired in that time is that a product came out that was a good product, good looking product, well-priced product, had some initial technical issues because it was new software and new technology. And it would have been easy to quickly go, and just like, pull the e-brake and, abort that mission, right? But now that a lot of those products have been, not a lot of them, all of them have been resolved. Those issues have been cleaned up. And now that product is performing really well in the field, even for customers that admittedly were having a little trouble after we first put them in. And there's no I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're the magical fitness company that never has a machine not work. Like it's a normal part of our business, especially when dealing with new products and things. So, pretty grateful to see that there was a rough patch and then was able to get all resolved, even amidst all the challenges with technology and parts and things. That company was able to clean that up, and it's a great product. And now one of the very same customers who got some of those first products, who had some challenges with their new equipment, now that it's all working beautifully, they just hit me up yesterday and said they want to buy more stuff. So,
Awesome.
I basically went a long way around to say that
you, Steve.
when you have good, when you have good partners who don't just let their problems just become your problems, but rather get out there with you and help to make them right, which is ultimately what happened. They were with us every step of the way, and they didn't abandon this customer at all. And at the end, they impressed them, and now they've won that customer over. So now they're trying to buy more stuff from them.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, for sure. So, and that was a lesson I learned, was not to completely flip out on somebody if something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, because it's part of the game, right? And things happen, and we can get it right in the end. And I know that's a lesson I learned this year and a project that I look back on with a lot of wins and a lot of losses and a lot of positives and negatives. But at the end, I think they all boiled down to be just an overall good situation. So,
But I also think the customer, I know who you're talking about, the customer needs to be given kudos too, because they were patient as we got through it. It's not easy when you first install equipment. You know, their residents are going to want that equipment to work, you know, flawlessly. It's brand new, and I can expect that. But to your point, that was almost a campaign with you and I, trying to navigate the customer, assure them of service, and then I don't often do this, but I get extremely involved and went all the way up to top and explained the situation. And it's good that the company that we're talking about was able to see the service side of things and be willing to adjust. Some have, you know, put their hands up at the situation, and I can think of some brands we don't carry anymore because their service did not meet our expectations, and so we had to stop.
Yeah.
We just can't put product out in the field and expect the customer to be told that, oh, I'm sorry, we don't sell that console. I realize your machine's 2 years old, but we don't support it anymore. I mean, that's just not good business, and that's why we don't carry the product. And I think that the products that we now, you know, with you and Steven working hard with relationships with our vendor partners, you know, everyone I talk to is on the same page. We get the product in the field. If there's a problem, RMS Fitness should be able to resolve it with the help of our team. So that I look forward to as we move forward.
yeah. Well, you know what, guys? You know, a lot happened last year, and, you know, short of just going into all the specific examples and stories, which we could probably sit here and talk for hours about different projects and things, I look back on what was probably for most people pretty tough year. You know, even probably outside of work for a lot of people, life has been a little tough in 2025. You know, things have been stressful for a lot of people. But as with every other rough and rocky year of my life, I am still here. It is the new year. 2026 is here, where, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, things pass, right? Like, life continues.
And we're still here for you, Steve.
Yeah, no. But what I mean is, like, all of us, right? Like, whatever version of that, you know, whatever it is that you're dealing with, whether it's work or outside of things, you know, just, you know, keep your head in the game. Keep pushing. You know, nothing changes until you put the work in. And eventually stuff, you know, does come together. But if you don't do anything about it, you guarantee yourself that nothing will happen. So I just want to encourage everybody, keep showing up, right? Keep pushing through challenges that you may have. I know multifamily was very challenging in 2025. I know across the board I heard nothing but challenges and complaints from my friends and colleagues in that space. So I know you all were dealing with it too. Hang in there, keep your heads up. Work with RMS Fitness if you want to work with somebody who gets you, because we get you. We're out here, we struggling with you. We're trying to make it all work. And I'm just grateful for a year that I can look back on. We all made it. Everything, you know, bills all got paid. Everybody's here. Everything's all good. And we're on to another, which should be another great year with lessons to be learned again. Steven, you got anything, parting words of wisdom?
I got one phrase to all our fans.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
Don't love your job. Job your love.
Laugh, love, live. Live, love, laughy, laughy, livey. Lovey, laugh. Skipping Robert.
Expect curveballs. That's
Robert.
one 2025 lesson learned. Expect curveballs.
Yep. Trouble with the curve is not good trouble to have, right? Emily?
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
Joe Dirt.
Dear Tay?
Yeah, good old Joe Dirte.
Hey, do you have one piece of fitness, movement, or health advice that you'd like to share with everybody at the end based on your recent?
I would just say to stay motivated is just to be consistent and not look for perfection.
Yeah.
Progress over perfection.
Yep. And you said the other day, right? Comparison is the thief of joy or something along those lines, right? So
Yep.
that was good stuff, man. I appreciate what Emily's been putting out there, too. Keep it up on your little Instagram.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Robert Decker, I wanted to end with you. Sagely 2025, looking backs for our listeners.
You know, 2025, for whatever reason, my Instagram was inundated with Rocky Balboa stuff. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I guess I've reached that age that he is more appealing to guys my age when they look back. And I remember he was given that pep talk. And so in the movie, you might remember, let me think what number this was. This was the last one,
sixth
right?
one.
Yeah, where he was talking to his son about, how people change you. You allow people to change you. We're going to get knocked down for sure. But the purpose of getting knocked down is to learn from it and then to get back up. If we stay down, then we allow whatever person or situation dictate who we are. Well, do we get back up? Whatever person or situation that was will just, kind of refine us, and then we'll move forward and be the person that we want to be. So I thought that was interesting how much, Rocky pepped me along through the whole year of 2025 with all that sayings that have come from Sylvester Stallone himself. But so maybe 2026 will be that kind of year. It's like I've been knocked down in 25. I'm going to get up, dust off, and move forward.
And, I recently shared that exact video clip with my son, 16-year-old, just about life, about life's challenges. And I think that quote says something like, it doesn't matter how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep standing up or keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. So
right.
That's the jam. And we're not going to say anything else but that. Robert said it. It's done. He done did it. Mic drop. We're out of here. No, but really, that's it, guys. Just wanted to share a quick recap of the year of 2025 with everybody. Thank everyone who's listened to our podcast throughout the year. We know that people are still downloading every episode. We see there's always listeners, so we appreciate you out there. And we're just looking forward to more consistent, more regular content with a little bit more of a structured idea of where we're headed with the content for 2026. So look out for us, monthly, Robert?
I'm thinking monthly's good.
Once a month. You should see new episodes from us anywhere you find your podcast. And as always, we simply ask that if you have found this episode of Everyone Needs a Spider to be educational, informative, or entertaining, that you would simply share that with a member of your multifamily community. We know how much you all work together and stay in touch with one another. So if there's somebody that you think could benefit from this information, we would just appreciate a little click of the share button and a little click of their email address. That way they can find us too. And that's all we ask. And a 5-star review and nothing less, as I always say. And really, that's all I got. So we'll look forward to the next time we catch up with everybody here at Everyone Needs a Spotter. I am your host, Steve Heitzer, signing off. Steven Donadio.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Robert Decker.
Have a great 2026.
Lil Wipey, Emily V.
Happy Friday and have a great weekend.
We'll see you next time.
See you.